Hey there, everyone. It is Monday, September 21st. What's this, the first day of fall, or is that tomorrow? I keep forgetting. It's about 12:06 or so Central Daylight Time, 1:06 on the East Coast for the market people. And I wanted to bring you a brief update today. I noticed some action in the gold markets and wanted to kind of explain to you guys, talk about what was going on. As you guys have probably noticed, if you guys are paying attention to the gold markets, actually dipped below $1,000 an ounce for the first time in last several sessions. What I find interesting is there's, of course, the national media here, are CNN folks, CNBC, MSNBC, people like that. There's a bit of blurb about what was going on back on Friday as to what's going on. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, is decided to sell, and I'll post the link here too in my info comments. Is going to sell 403.3 metric tons of gold. And this is another thing that's almost laughable. With these sales to be conducted on modalities that safeguard against disruption of the gold market. Who are you kidding here? Like no one's going to react to that. Of course, it's going to drop the price of gold. So it was, 1,015, 1,022. And they knocked it down 998. So of course, what does that do? Well, that caused an increase in the dollar, right? We bounced off of 76.5 this morning and rose to a high of a little above 77. Now you have to ask yourself, well, isn't this kind of conspicuously interesting? The IMF decides to dump a bunch of gold on the market. They know the price is going to go down. They know that the price of the dollar is going to go up. They also know that the Asian markets are getting hammered on Friday. So they know that the American markets would probably get a little hammered as well. And that is exactly what happened this morning. The Dow is down. Right now it's down about 44 points. It was down this morning. The futures were down. Of course people are going to sell off into this. And of course people are going to go to the dollar. The government wants the Federal Reserve on behalf of the government, or maybe it's the government on behalf of the Federal Reserve, depends how you look at it. Of course they're trying to keep everything from crashing. They're trying to keep the dollar as high as possible. They don't want this to crash yet, so this is pretty clear to me that they don't want this to crash yet. I find it very interesting that the Dow still, it's even rising back up. It's crashed to a low, not crash. I shouldn't use that term, but it did go to a low about 97.40, and crept up to about the 9,800 mark, and it's leveled off about 97.76 as of this moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, I find it very interesting. There is definitely an interesting relationship between the Federal Reserve System and all the central banks in the world, and also the IMF. Of course, you're not going to know what that relationship is because the Federal Reserve System is secretive. It's interesting. They like to have it both ways. The Federal Reserve System. Bloomberg tried to get information from the Federal Reserve System under the FOIA Act, Freedom of Information Act, which is affects government agencies. Well, of course, the Federal Reserve said, hey, we're not a federal agency, we're a private bank. But then on the other hand, they want it both ways, so they'll go ahead and do that, but then if you try to approach it from a private perspective, say, hey, what's going on here? Well, how come this, and this is happening? Oh, well, that's a national matter of security. It's just like all the money. There's like $2.something trillion that's just gone. And the Federal Reserve will not let us know where it went. So they want it both ways, guys. And you people out there, not necessarily subscribers and people who listen to my videos and such, but the majority of the population out there, you're letting this happen. You're absolutely letting this happen. This is insane. We have all been taken over by a private bank, and that's just no other way to put it, guys. As tinfoil hat crazy as that may sound, you've got a Federal Reserve System, a private bank that answers to absolutely no one, that is absolutely doing whatever they feel is best for their buddies. Okay, so right now I think it's pretty clear the plan is not to keep the dollar, it's to keep the dollar from collapsing right now. They're going to try to do everything they can. We have treasuries coming out, this Thursday. I think $100-something billion is going to be offered. You think there's going to be some monetization going on? You think that the Chinese investors are going to even bother to loan us any more money? They see what's going on. Anyway, guys, I apologize. This is kind of a rant. Again, I want to go back to saying that I think it's the inflation is what's keeping our Dow up. I would not be surprised to see the Dow go over 10,000 in next several sessions. perhaps even as soon as this week. You know, the dollar right now is already starting to back off from the highs of 77. I mean, they can't keep this going, but they're going to try to keep this going as long as possible. And they're going to make this very painful for all of us. You know, nice slow death, you know, of the economy, just to make it more painful for people. I mean, think about it. Let's keep this prolonged as long as possible. So for those of us who haven't, you know, for those of you out there who don't have a job or have a business that's fallen apart or whatever, it's just going to take longer and longer and longer to recover, right? I mean, wouldn't you rather have a nice quick, you know, shock and you have a recovery after that? No, they want to keep you, you know, completely buried in debt, destitute, desperate, you know, so you're going to say yes to whatever, you know, they say they think is best. You know, they're going to say, hey, we need to make some changes to the banking system. We need these financial regulations and all this other stuff. Well, as you sit there in pain, you're going to say yes to it. You're going to say, yeah, you know, I think absolutely we need to do this and that and the other. Absolutely. Anyway, guys, again, HR 1207 is extremely, I say this in every single of my videos, and I'll say it from now on, 1207 is extremely important. Get your representatives to do it. And I understand. A lot of people out there are saying, yes, well, 1207, what's the point? You know, even if the Federal Reserve lets it go through, it's probably going to be a, you know, scripted audit, and that's okay. Again, there's so many people out there. You know, I know the people out there who subscribe to my videos, you guys are aware of the Federal Reserve System and how evil it is. But there are a lot of people out there who don't know what it is. They think it's part of the government. They think it's, you know, the news that the President Obama reelected or reappointed, you know, Bernanke. So there's this feeling like, oh, there is some government oversight going on. There's none. Absolutely none. They can do whatever they feel. And we don't even know what's going on. And like I said, they play both sides. Oh, it's national security. We're a government agency. You know, but then, oh, well, we don't, you know, we're not under the FOIA Act because we're not a government agency. I mean, they have it both ways, guys. Come on, this is ridiculous. Support 1207. Ask your representatives. Stop voting for Democrat Republicans. Okay, they're two arms of the same monster, and it is a horrible monster. Anyway, guys, we'll keep an eye on the markets for you here. I expect the dollar to continue its slide. We had a little rally up to 77. Looks like today it's starting to head back down to retest 76.5 in intraday, and I think gold is up a little over $1,000 now. So yeah, you know, I don't know if the IMF is trying to sell it in, you know, little spurts here and there. So maybe we'll perhaps see it around $1,000 mark, but it seems like no one's having a problem buying on the dips. So anyway, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. You know, please subscribe to my videos. Tell others about it. Make comments if you would, and rate. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get this word out and keep this thing going. Okay. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.